The following podcast is recommended for mature audiences only. The following podcast is recommended for adults only. Maturity is not a requirement.
Hello and welcome to episode 37 of Dear Download, a podcast where we get to share our most intimate and treasured memories of Download Festival. Also, we'll touch upon any news, other festivals, and the music industry past, present and future. This week is a Papa Roach special. We're going to talk all about Papa Roach, our favourite albums, our least favourite albums. That's probably a better way to say that. But yeah, we just wanted to talk about Papa Roach, and there's a good reason for it as well, which we will announce very soon. I am Adam, and of course, I am here with Simon, as always.
Hello, and good day to you, sire.
Hello.
Hello, sire.
And we're also joined by Simon's brother, Adam. Hello. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Oh, yeah. Right, yeah, so this is something we need to sort out right away, because we discussed it before we came on, actually, how, because both me and Adam have the name Adam. So it might be difficult when we're talking to each other. We're going to talk over each other. So anytime anyone says Adam, they're referring to Simon's brother Adam. I'm probably just going to say Simon's brother Adam my whole episode. And I will be known as Coxty for this episode.
This is good. I like this language that we've made.
Yeah.
So we
I
all
like
know.
it. I like it a lot.
Cool.
It's
We
like a
have
little secret code, mate.
Yeah. So should we go, before we go into everything else, we do what we normally do. How has your last couple of weeks been, Simon?
Yeah, lovely. I say that. Going back to work was a bit, I had such a good Christmas this year. I was really not looking forward to going back to work for the first time. That probably hasn't happened since I've been at this job, and it's nearly 6 years now. But yeah, I was like, oh God, I really don't want to go back. But oh well, I'm back now. I'm back in the swing of things. New year and all that stuff. It's going to be a busy year. Getting married this year. We got a big download. I'm the best man at my other friend's wedding. There's just so much happening this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I think 2023 is going to be sick. And I think that it's going to be, as always, another great year for the podcast.
Oh, definitely. And it's going to be a great stag do too.
Oh, yeah. The stag do is going to be good. For those of you that want to know, we are doing a 90s weekend at Butlins. Oh, yeah.
I was super excited when I saw that. I've always wanted to go to one. 90s was the best year for music. It's not the 80s. And I mean, there's going to be a Kevin and Perry Go Large DJ set, I think. I have the CD up in the attic still. It was a good album. That was a really good album.
Hells yeah.
I can't remember who else was there. But yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be, it's like Symphonic Ibiza, 911 are playing, all these like 90s boys. Yeah, it's going to be great, honestly. It's just going to be a pure 90s vibe. I can't wait. It's like 18 of us going.
Our like age group as well, isn't it? Like we were all teenagers in the 90s. Like the 80s, we were all still like, children really, weren't we? Where the 90s, we were all teenagers getting up to stupid things, listening to cheesy music and everything like that. So yeah, it's going to suit our demographic perfectly.
Oh my God, yeah, can't wait, mate, can't wait.
Definitely.
And obviously, Joe Pasquale.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I said to Simon earlier before we came on, I said, if we end up finding our way to actually watching Joe Pasquale, which I don't think we're going to, let's be honest. If I go there, right, and he starts singing I Know a Song That Will Get On Your Nerves, I'm going to get up and punch him. I'm just going to go off on stage and I'm going to punch him.
I forgot about that song.
I know something's going to get on your nerves, mate.
Jesus
well,
Christ.
I don't. In all honesty, I think the Joe Pasquale thing is going to be skipped, isn't it?
Most likely, unless people are really tanked and we all really want to see Joe Pasquale. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. It's like your hero I just threatened to punch.
No, but I didn't realise there was anything bad about him. I thought he was all right. And
he's fine. If that song comes on, it's one of Adam's triggers. He'll get up and he'll lamp him.
Mate. Yeah. You know, like you know, like in Zoolander when the song "Relax" plays and he goes all mental.
Yeah.
That's gonna be me if I hear a song that'll get on your nerves.
You're gonna assassinate Mugatu.
That's right. And use Magnum.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
So yeah, as you can probably tell, this episode's going to be a bit like that the whole way through, I'd imagine. But that's fine. We did speak as well about that before starting, and that's what we like about the show. So
Yep.
Sorry, it'll be fine. Adam. Obviously, hello. We obviously met for the first time at Download as well. Yeah, that was awesome. I haven't really spoken to you or seen you much since. But did you have a nice Christmas, good New Year, etc.?
Yeah. Christmas is great. I was with Simon for Christmas. Yeah, and pretty much that's about it. So went to Simon's new home. It's lovely. Him and Vicky cooked us a lovely dinner. It was fantastic.
You say me? I mean, Simon Vicky cooked it.
Yeah, Vicky. I'd say, I like to include you. You know, you've probably done something. I would assume. No, you did. You peeled the potatoes.
I did, and the carrots.
So
no, I cut the carrots, the carrots, and peeled the potatoes. Thank you very much.
Well done. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Proud of you, bro.
Thanks.
Awesome. But yeah, it was good. Really good. Good time. Like Simon said, exciting year ahead. Obviously, I'm Simon's best man at his wedding, and I'm also best man at Carter's wedding as well, because we're joint best men at each other's wedding. We've got a pact. They were both best men at my wedding, and so on and so forth. But yeah, so that's good. Yeah, like you said, the stag do's going to be great.
You have to do the Spider-Man point thing when you're all through.
That has to be a picture, doesn't it? Just everyone just pointing at each other. That would be amazing.
So good. That'd be great. Awesome. Yeah, other than that, it's all good.
Well, while you're talking, while we got you, why did you want to come on a Papa Roach episode? I mean, well, you said you wanted to come on a episode, and then we decided Papa Roach because Simon said you love him so much.
Yeah, I mean,
your history. Papa Roach.
Yeah, well,
history.
So, okay, no, I'll tell you a history because it's actually quite interesting. So, me and Simon talk about this all the time. So, Papa Roach Infest album came out, right? Everyone went absolutely nuts for it. I couldn't stand it. I hated it. I was like, who are these? They're rubbish. I said, why is everyone so excited? And like Simon said, it didn't, like, from the fans in general, it didn't get that good of a, no one really liked it that much.
Well, that was the critics.
Friends,
the critics.
Yeah, the critics
didn't like it.
They slammed it. They slammed it. And so I was with them. I was like, yeah, man, they're right. This band's rubbish. What's everyone on about? And then the second album came out, and I listened to it, and then I just fell in love with Papa Roach. And then I went back and re-listened to the first album. Absolutely ended up falling in love with that as well.
Yeah.
And as Simon's spoken of, many times on the podcast, they seem to be one of the most consistently good bands of our time. Like, bands drop off and they do, not so well for a while, or they disappear and then come back. Papa Roach just seemed to have been like constantly decent for their whole career as a band. And it's you don't really tend to get that with a lot of bands, which I think, makes them stand out a little bit to the average, metal band, really.
Definitely. Look, Biscuit fell off hugely. Linkin Park obviously completely changed genres of music. Excuse me, ended up sounding more like a pop band, which I still love, but obviously Chester's dead, they can't continue. Slipknot have been constantly there. Korn have been constantly there, and Papa Roach have been constantly there from that sort of era of bands. You could probably say Deftones as well have been there, but there's not many from that sort of, nu metal era of music that have been so consistently good, apart from Papa Roach, Slipknot, and Korn. Yeah, they've had a few duff records here and there, but like Adam said, they've been there the whole time, and they just haven't gone away.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like I said to Simon earlier on as well. It's like since I started using Spotify Wrapped, every time I get my Wrapped at the end of the year, since I can remember using it, which has probably been like the last 5 years. Papa Roach have always, since I've started using it, been in my top 5 listened to bands like every year.
Nice.
They don't always make it to the top spot, but they're always in the top 5. So yeah, obviously very much enjoy listening to them.
What was your top?
Yeah, that's cool.
What was your top for last year, Ad?
Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden, then Saliva. Probably the last 3 years in a row, I think.
Oh yeah. And what about
I Prevail this year with my top band?
Was yours I Prevail? I get you.
Oh man, they're so good. I listen to him constantly. I can't wait. Going to see him for the first time at Download, man. It's going to be so sick.
Oh, me too. I'm buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. Can't wait.
I'm looking forward to seeing what your number one album is now, to be fair. I just want to get into it. But we have got a few things we wanted to talk about since before that. Simon said he's got a few bits of sort of trivia that he wants to say before going into our top 10 albums. Albums ranked, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, so we're all going to rank we're doing our 10 favourite Papa Roach albums each, and we're going from 10 to number 1, very similar to like we did in the Iron Maiden episode. And I've just got some facts about the band and some stuff that people might not know. Should we call Ronnie in? Should we just go straight into it?
Let's call Ronnie in.
Let's call. Actually, Adam, do you know what? Adam, would you do the honours of calling in Ronnie?
Ronnie, what are you doing? I don't know what he's doing. Come here. No, don't be shy. He's done the podcast loads of times. All right, okay. All right, he's coming in, guys. He's here. He's coming.
Awesome.
Send for me, devil!
Thank you, Ronnie.
Ronnie.
So yeah, I'm going to pass it over to Simon now, and you can sort of take the lead a little bit.
Thank you very much.
Say what you want to say.
So, obviously, this is a Papa Roach special, so I'll give you a quick lowdown of Papa Roach right from the beginning. So, Papa Roach were formed by Jacoby Shaddix in, unbelievably, 1993, which is a hell of a long time ago. They were in high school at the time, so it just shows you how long that was. It was Vacaville High School in California, and obviously after signing with DreamWorks Records in 1999, they entered the studio to record Infest, and of course, the rest is history, which is what we're going to talk about. So the band currently are Jacoby Shaddix on vocals, Jerry Horton on guitar, Tobin Esperance on bass, and Toli Palomero on drums. Interestingly, and quite rarely for a band that's been going this long, since Infest, which was come out in 2000, they've only had one member change, which is super impressive within a space of 20 or 21 years now. And that was Dave Buckner, who was the drummer from Infest all the way up to the Paramore Sessions, which was his last album in 2007. And I think he left the band to concentrate on having a family and just, doing all the stuff that he wanted to do away from Papa Roach. So there was no bad blood. He left perfectly on good terms with the band. They just said, hey, and then they got Tony Palomero on drums, and he has been the drummer since 2007. A fun fact for you about Papa Roach that I never knew, but I found out doing research. The first iteration of the band had a trombone player.
I did see that. Yeah.
I was like, what? And I was like, it must have been when they were in high school and they all sort of like got together and they were like, oh, you play trombone, why don't you come into the band or whatever. I don't know where they got that from, but could you just imagine, like between Angels and Insects and then just a trombone coming in halfway through. New metal trombone. So yeah. But yeah, that's all the sort of just intro I have on them, telling everyone the members and all that stuff. I do have a disclaimer for the top 10 albums. So we are only counting albums from Infest onwards. It doesn't include Old Friends from Young Years in 1997, Potatoes for Christmas, or Time for Annihilation, because technically that only had 5 new songs and all the rest were B-sides and live tracks. So everything but those, or anything considered to be a proper studio album, are the only ones that you will see on our lists. That's me. Cool. Over to you, Ad.
Yeah. So I wrote a few things down as well. I think I did the same thing as you. Went on the Wikipedia. I thought I'm not going to get the informative stuff. I'm just going to have a look for some interesting stuff that I find interesting. And one of the things was I sent you a link to the YouTube, Simon, earlier.
Yeah.
The Tightrope, the was it bonus track at the end of Infest? You know it? Is that the bonus one? Yeah.
No, it's not bonus. It was like a secret-y track.
Secret, yeah.
But it was in the original playlist on the original track listing on the album, yeah.
Yeah. But it was originally on one of their EPs before the good friends and young people or whatever it was. But it was a heavier version of it, and it was the heavier version that I sent to you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but bearing in mind he only sent it to me 10 minutes ago.
Cool.
But I will listen to it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, there's a lot actually. When I go through the albums, when I go through the albums, there's a lot of stuff that they reused from demos and stuff on other albums. So that's a good example of it.
Yeah, One of them was "Time and Time Again," which was one of my favorite songs at the time, and that was on one of their EPs before their first album. And they must have been waiting years to get that on an album. And it's such a good song. Like, I would have used that on the first album.
Well, actually, on Love Hate Tragedy, when we get into it, you'll see there was 2 songs on Love Hate Tragedy that were supposed to be on Infest, but they didn't put them on it. They waited for Love Hate Tragedy. That was one of them.
Okay.
Now, there is another one as well. Yeah, but yeah.
What else do I have? The first tour van was called Moby Dick, and that's where Jacoby Shaddix came up with the stage name Kobe Dick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, the one of their previous labels, the band's former label, Geffen Records, released a greatest hits compilation of the band's biggest hits, titled "To Be Loved, the Best of Papa Roach." And I was going to read it as they've written. I was trying to read it and go and take things from it and put it in my own words, but I can't fucking do that. The band, however, told fans not to buy it, saying that the band was making no money off of the album sales, and the label released the album against the band's will. Masters and/or copyrights by Papa Roach are represented by Downtown Music Publishing. The band no longer owns the rights to their songs, but continue to play them live. It didn't go into which songs. I assume the songs that they were on the albums when they were with Geffen Records, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is really interesting. I know a lot of people don't know that a lot of bands don't own their own music, which is insane to think about that. A lot of people end up getting them back because they're not really worth that much money anymore. I'm sure they've tried to get them back or whatever. But yeah, that is quite interesting, actually. A band actually telling fans not to buy one of their albums is great. Do you know what a good example of that is?
It's not a great marketing scheme.
It's not a great marketing scheme, but do you know what one of the best marketing schemes of all time was System of a Down's Steal This Album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just says on the front in black marker pen, "Steal This Album." How many of those do you think actually got stolen from CD shops?
Probably none, because they probably took all the CDs out. They probably preempted it.
That's true.
Megastars were smart, man. They saw it coming.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much all I had written down. I had written down they started in 1993. That was about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get into our top 10 albums?
Yes. So some of these. Do you want to steer this one as well, or do you want me?
I can steer it if you would like me to steer it, sir.
Yeah, you go for it. I might talk a little bit about my choices as we go then, because
so I know what I'm like. Yeah, we're going to get
would.
Everyone's opinion on whichever albums that they've done.
Mm-hmm.
I won't do me first because I'll do you two first and then me last because it's typical. We'll get you guys going on first.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
yeah, happy with that.
We shall start off with Adam, brother. Give us your number 10. Your
My number 10
mm-hmm.
is Metamorphosis.
Oh, okay.
That's number 1, mate.
Number 10, Metamorphosis.
Yeah,
okay.
Why? Well, let's get the thing. Let's like make this very clear first, right? I like every single Papa Roach album, right? This isn't like me slamming the band for having a bad album, because I genuinely like every single one of their albums, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, this is a top 10 of a band that has 10 studio albums. So they have to be placed somewhere in the list, right?
Yeah.
And like I've said, I just think they were going through some sort of weird, like, punky, rebellious phase sort of thing on this album. It felt a lot different to the stuff from the Papa Roach that was previous to it. Not that change is bad, I just wasn't really feeling it at the time, compared to the other Papa Roach that I'd listened to previously to this album. And that's pretty much it, really. Not bad, just not as good as the stuff that I'd heard before.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in length when I get to it, but it's bang in the middle of what I like to call the rock and roll Papa Roach phase. So yeah, not
mine up.
Not my favourite phase of Papa Roach, but yeah.
Why have you got like 3 albums twice or something? In a top 10, he's got 3 albums.
I have got the connection twice.
He's got the connection twice.
Oh, he's got the connection twice.
He likes it so much,
mate. That's good stuff.
He likes it so much. He
put
it in
that
there
much.
Twice.
Or is this him thinking, oh, Metamorphosis, I forgot about that. It was that bad. He didn't even put it in his list.
No, it's sorted now. It's adjusted. Sorry, Simon.
That's okay. It's okay.
A slight panic then. Like, am I going to be able to save this to sort it?
Are you good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, good. Okay, Coxie, your number 10 Papa Roach album, please.
My number 10 album is Crooked Teeth.
What?
Okay, it's definitely not that low on mine.
We knew this was going to be a thing, man. We knew this was going to be a thing, but yeah, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, you know? Even if it is wrong.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit.
So yeah, the reason why is I hadn't listened to it until this week. I said the same as number 9. There was about 3 albums. I think I've said it probably a couple of times on the show before. They pissed me off with The Connection because I didn't realize it was going to be like a half and half, like EP, half live. And I bought it and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I've paid for like 5 new songs.
You mean like, Time for Annihilation?
Time for Annihilation. Yeah, sorry, I got Connection on the brain.
It's all right.
From my old a minute ago.
He's trying to shoehorn it in wherever he can. Connection.
Yeah. And yeah, so I just didn't listen to them for years and years and years. And I proved to myself that was a stupid idea because we listened to Ego Trip. No, what did we listen to for the top, the 10 out, the
Connection?
Like 10. We're talking about The Connection.
It was The Connection, yeah.
Fuck's sake.
That was it was on our 2012 episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I listened to the Ego Trip earlier. I was like, yeah, this is the one I really liked from our previous episode. And I was like, I don't like this as much as I thought. But it was the wrong fucking album. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Damn it. Right. But yeah, that's the reason why. Like I think there was like 3 albums that I just didn't listen to until recently. So with a few more listens, I probably will get into them a bit more. But yeah, I don't know it well enough. So yeah,
well, I can say
it's at the bottom because I don't know it.
Yeah, Crooked Teeth, because obviously me and Adam listened, it's a lot higher on my list than number 10.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same for Adam. But that's fair enough, like you said. If it was one that you missed and you don't really have any feelings about, I'm sure if we 100%. Ask you the same question in a year, you might be like, do you know what, it's actually awesome. But yeah.
Nostalgia takes hold of you when it comes to music. There's a nostalgia. It's like your favorite video game or your favorite movie, like your favorite album. It really does have a big impact on your decisions to how much you actually do like it or remember how much you liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried to take that out. I done mine in like a score for the songs and the type of album and all that. So I've tried to be as fair as I possibly can, taking out any form of nostalgia. In fact, you know what? I don't actually have nostalgia for any of these albums apart from 2 of them. All the rest are just good albums.
The last couple of days, I didn't have time to listen to all of the albums again because that's a lot of music, man. But what I did is I picked like 3 songs off every album that I liked and re-listened to it again to sort of refresh my memory and that's how I made my placements and how I felt about the songs now more than I did when I was listening to them, sort of thing. I tried to make it fair. Yeah. Okay,
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I listened to every song of every album, so I went in a bit deeper than you lot. But
bloody hell, man, that's
just a typical me thing to do, though.
I listened to most songs, but only once.
Ah, okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, would you like to hear what my number 10 is?
Yes.
No, we'll go back to your brother, and we'll just.
Yeah, Simon. I'll see you later, Mush.
See you later. I'm out of it.
On your bike.
There's a new host, guys. One brother for another. My number 10.
One brother for another.
One brother for another. My number 10
that sounds like a Papa Roach song.
One brother from another. There you go. That's a Papa Roach song. Send that to Jacoby Shaddix.
We're in, man.
Right, my number 10 is Who Do You Trust, which was the album before the last one, which is Ego Trip. It's just not a very interesting album at all. The ending, the song, the ending, which is the beginning of the album, is a good intro. It's a bit like unexpected. But the weird thing is, if you listen to Papa Roach albums, you guys will know from listening to them recently, normally the first song is like a song that sort of just punches you in the face. Like they normally have something heavy or fast or like, boom, this is the Papa Roach album. There you go, straight in. And this one doesn't really do that. It goes in a bit slower. The songs, I've given songs that I think people should listen to off of each album that you wouldn't necessarily have listened to. I genuinely think there is only one song on this whole album actually worth listening to, which is the song Elevate, which is a good song. It's not a great Papa Roach song, but it's, it's right kind of down the bottom. I just think overall it was in the mix of such a hot streak that they were on for like 4 albums. And Jacoby said in interviews that they wanted to try and go in a different direction with this album, and it didn't really pan out. I think it's got the opposite of what happened with Infest. The critics liked it, but the fans didn't like it. Whereas Infest, the critics didn't like it, but the fans loved it. So it's by far the most lackluster Papa Roach album. You couldn't put it on and rock out to it, which is the entire point, in my view, of a Papa Roach album. It's like you should be able to rock out to. So yeah, I won't go on about it too much because I don't want to talk about this one that much because it's not great. You could still listen to it and say it's good, but it's not great for Papa Roach standards. So yeah, number 10, Who Do You Trust? Right, Adam, brother Adam. Talking to you like a weird place to go. Brother Adam. What's your number 9?
This one's going to be short because you've pretty much touched on it. You said a lot about it exactly the same way I feel about it, which is Who Do You Trust, which is my number 9. Again, just touching back on what you said, it's just it doesn't feel like a Papa Roach album, if that makes sense. It's good to listen to if you want to listen to something that isn't Papa Roach, if that makes sense. But it's still enjoyable. But like you said, you listen to Papa Roach because you want to rock out, man. You want to have a good time. You want to feel the energy. This album doesn't really do that. Like you said, there's a couple of good tracks. Like Elevate's decent. I think was it Come Around? I think the other track that I really liked on that album.
Yeah, there's a couple on there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's but other than that, it was just a bit sort of lackluster, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't a great one. Mr. Coxey, your number 9, please, sir.
Same one. Who Do You Trust?
Oh,
Same reason as before. I listened to it once, but this was before Crooked Teeth, wasn't it? So maybe that's why I didn't enjoy Crooked Teeth.
No, it was after.
Yeah, this is
2019.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that was my theory out the window then. Yeah, I just think it's a bit lackluster. I think when you put an Papa Roach album on, you want it to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
But this one didn't. I don't know. I just couldn't say in your words.
That's fine.
I didn't.
I like that we've gone to this punch you in the face thing. Though I didn't stick with it.
I literally have in my notes on some of the
that.
good albums. This first song punches you in the face. I've actually got that on my notes.
It's great. I like it.
Right. That was both of your number 9. Do you want my number 9? Probably do. My number 9 is Metamorphosis. So me and Adam, brother Adam, we have ours the same, just round the other way round, baby. Metamorphosis. Yeah. Do you know what? I know it's at the bottom of the list, but it's not even. I was going to put this right at the bottom because I remember this. I remember really, really not liking this album at the time, and it kind of put me off Papa Roach a little bit. And until I didn't listen to Time for Annihilation, I was kind of just like, eh. And then they brought out The Connection. I won't say any more, but that's a different story. We'll get there. But yeah, this is just, Change or Die is great. Hollywood Whore is a great single off of a pretty lackluster album, but Hollywood Whore has a great riff on it. I completely forgot about songs like Lifeline and I Almost Told You I Loved You. They were released as singles. If you told me that those were Papa Roach singles, I would have told you that you were an idiot and there's no way that they released those songs. Apparently they did release those songs off that album. I don't remember those songs coming out, videos or singles. Does anyone else remember those songs?
What I remember from that album as a single was Hollywood Whore, because it was just so big, that track.
Yeah.
I think that sort of like covered, just sort of overshadowed the rest of the album, I think, and people just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah, I just put in my notes here as well. I'm putting this above Who Do You Trust because this album, although I think it's not the best Papa Roach album, it has bollocks. It actually, it's Papa Roach with distortion, actually trying to accomplish to get people going mental. Whereas Who Do You Trust is just very meh. Well, I could see why someone would like this more than me, but like you said before, Adam, I'm not a fan of the rock and roll phase of Papa Roach. It's not my bag at all. So this, I won't say it, but the other rock and roll phase, air quotes, of Papa Roach, I don't like that much either, but we won't get there. But anyway, from the album, I would probably recommend people to listen to Change or Die and Hollywood Whore. And that is my number 9. Adam, brother Adam, what is your number 8, please, sir?
Well, I think it's the Paramore Sessions.
Okay.
It's again, this is a really hard list to make. To be in all fairness, like I said to you earlier, Simon, before we came on, my list is like I was very sure about number 10 and number 9, and my number 1 and my number 2. Everywhere in between was very difficult for me to put them in their spots. So maybe a little bit more time to think about it. The albums might have slightly differed on the in-between ones, but yeah, it's still a really good Papa Roach album. It's just I genuinely prefer other albums to it. Do
you know what's weird?
Like all Papa Roach albums.
To butt in quickly, I remember you having this on CD when we lived together at home.
Yeah.
I remember you having this on CD.
Apart from like the last 5 Papa Roach albums before, I don't buy CDs anymore, mate. Like I owned most Papa Roach albums on CD, to be fair. But yeah, again, it had some big tunes, man. Had some absolute bangers, but I don't know, something about it. I just couldn't catch on with me compared to other stuff that they've done. Like none of it was bad, but you get that with bands sometimes where you're just like, okay, yeah, I'm going to listen to the new album of the band that I love, and then you're like, didn't really hit as hard as I wanted it to, sort of thing. And that's kind of the way that I felt about it.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Mr. Coxey, your number 8, please.
I have no idea whether it's going to be good or bad now after putting Crooked Teeth up on, but yeah, my number 8 is Ego Trip.
Okay.
No laughing this time. Excellent. Good.
No,
my bottom 4 are. It's not really bottom 4. It's the ones that I'd not really listened to that much.
So the ones you listen to the least are your bottom ones.
Yeah. So it's going to be a bit sort of uninteresting because I have nothing to say about them because I haven't listened to them that much. I have listened to them because of this, but not enough really to really like fully get into it, understand like the songs and what I'm talking about, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Ego Trip. I know I listened to it. It was a while ago when it first came out, or not long after it
we
came
did
out.
listen to. I think I told you to listen to it, and you listened to it, and you said, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
But you haven't let it.
But
You haven't let it sit. You haven't had enough time to sit with it to kind of get the vibe. Yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, that's your number. My number 8 is the same as me bros. It is the Paramore Sessions. Well done. So, Adam, our bottom 3 just one round the wrong way, but they're all the same.
Similar, because we grew up together listening to these bands, so we normally felt the same way about them. So I assumed our lists were they might differ further up the list, but I knew that the bottom ones were going to be roughly the same.
Yeah, I thought our bottoms would be the same. The tops I don't think are going to be the same, but the bottom I thought would be a similar, version to what it is. So yeah, I mean, Paramore Sessions, obviously To Be Loved is one of the best Papa Roach songs, and it opens up the album.
Yeah.
It's a great track, great opener, awesome song. I really like the second track, Alive, as well. I think that's one of the most underrated Papa Roach songs. It's a sick track. Also, I forgot how much of a great track Time Is Running Out is. It's a really good ballad, which is pretty much up there with some of their best songs. Adam, Coxey, this is a great one for you, right? Forever, the song on this, Forever, is the best song Shinedown have never made.
Okay.
It sounds exactly like a Shinedown song. Like, go back and listen to the song Forever from this album, right? It's a good Papa Roach song. It would be an incredible Shinedown song. I reckon that Shinedown were in the studio next to them, and they just put their ears up to the wall and went, "Oh, they said they're not going to record that one. Right, that's the one that we're going to record." And they just put
what
that one
year
on the
was
album.
this one?
2006.
2006. That's probably before Shinedown's time, isn't it?
Is Shinedown's first album not 2006?
Oh, it could have been.
I thought it.
I had a similar thought about another song they did. Sound like a different band. So I'll say that when I get to it.
Okay.
I think I need to check what album it's on and make sure it's on the album that I'm thinking it of.
I'm just going to check now that Shinedown. I thought their first album was. It might have even been earlier than that. Shinedown's first album was 2003.
Was it?
Yeah.
No, really?
It was indeed. So yes, it very well could have been Shinedown in the studio next door.
They obviously took their time to blow up a little bit, then, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do remember people liking Shinedown in like 2000 and I want to say 6 or 7, and I listened to them and I thought, it's not for me. I don't really like their older stuff. I like their new stuff a lot, but I wasn't really into their sort of stuff there.
Yeah.
But I feel like this Papa Roach album is very Shinedown-y. It has that kind of... It's the last phase of the rock and roll Papa Roach. So my least favourite phase of them was Time for Annihilation, Paramore Sessions, and Morphogenesis. That was my 3, the ones that we just put in there, basically, apart from Who Do You Trust, because it's much newer. But I just feel like it wasn't Papa Roach. It was... They were trying to do something else, and they had some great singles, but I think the albums overall were filled up with not that many great songs. I don't think as an album from start to finish, they're that good, but they have a lot of good singles. So I'm glad when they came out of the Paramore Sessions and went into Paramore Sessions and Morphogenesis and then what they were going to do next. But yeah, so that's my number 8. So Adam, brother of mine, what is your number 7, please, sir?
Okay, so my number 7 is Ego Trip. Okay. And the reason for that is, like I said, I haven't spent a lot of time with this album yet. I need more time with it. So if you were to ask me this question again in a year's time, it possibly might be further up the list or maybe even lower on the list. But it's sort of, yeah, I like it a lot. I like, it's got some big tracks on it, really, really good. I just haven't had the time to listen to it as much as I want to yet. But I will continue to listen to the album.
I thought this would be much higher on your list.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. And that's the only reason why. I just haven't had time with it. That's it.
Okay, that's fair. Mr. Adam of the Coxie, your number 7, please, sir.
Yeah, my number 7 is the Paramore Sessions. I didn't spend a lot of time with that when it came out, but the same as you, Simon. Sorry, the first 2 tracks are absolutely amazing. I don't know how I heard them because I just didn't even listen to the album for probably months or years after it came out. And when I did hear the album, I was like, "Oh yeah, I know the song, and I know this song."
To Be Loved was a huge hit at the time. That song was everywhere.
Maybe it was Alive more than To Be Loved.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really listen to the rest of the album very much, at all, at the time. So again, it was new to me recently.
Which is, that's fair enough. We understand that's your albums. Once you get further up the top, I'm guessing you're going to have a little bit more to say about the albums themselves and stuff. So that's fine. That's all good. Okay, my number 7 is, weirdly, thinking of my memories of this album, I thought would be much higher. But then I realised the only reason I've stuffed it down here is because the ones above it are so ridiculously good. So my number 7 is Fear from 2015. I thought it would be much higher, but as it turns out, I like all the other Papa Roach albums a lot more than I like this one. Although, I will say Face Everything and Rise is one of the best opening tracks on a Papa Roach album by far. So good. It's absolutely incredible. There are 2 songs on this album that every single Papa Roach fan should hear, and that is Skeletons, which is easily one of the most underrated songs, and Falling Apart, which is an incredible Papa Roach song. Overall, it's a good album, but what I didn't remember about it was, after the song Gravity, which is another good song, the album really does start to peter out. It's very much an album of 2 halves. First half, brilliant. Last half, all filler. Nothing really there of note, or I would say that is an overly good Papa Roach. Of course, like brother of mine said, nothing bad, but nothing great either. So that's why Fear is my number. What is it? 7 or 8? 7. My number 7. So, Adam, brother of mine, what is your number 6, sir?
My number 6 is Fear.
Oh,
so
nice.
For the same reasons as you just said, a couple of absolute bangers, and then it kind of just drops off a little bit.
Yeah,
it's Face Everything and Rise, Gravity, Skeletons, absolute tunes, and then the other ones are just a bit. They're okay. They're not great. They're good tracks, but they're nothing that you'd want to repeatedly go back to.
Yeah, I agree. We are on the exact same page when it comes to that. Like exactly the same. Yeah, I feel the same. Big tunes, but nothing that much of note.
And that is all I have to say on the matter.
Adam Coxey, what is your number 6, please, sire?
My number 6 is Fear.
Whoa! Oh, well done, guys. We all got it around the same sort of space.
But for slightly different reasons to you two.
Okay.
But I had only listened to this one once as well. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know Fear existed. I didn't know Who Do You Trust existed or Crooked Teeth existed until the last few days. I never heard of them. But
Fear is a real thing, my friend.
Yeah, I listened to Fear today, and it blew me away. Well, one listen through it, and it blew me away. And I was thinking at the time, I'm gonna have to listen to this a lot more, because it's not very often a first listen of an album can do that to me. I was gonna say when I got to Gravity, I was thinking to myself, this sounds like an In This Moment song, and then she starts singing.
Yeah, she's on the track.
I don't know if it sounds like an In This Moment song, or if maybe I'd heard it with Kelly before, because Kelly's a massive In This Moment fan.
Oh, so you think she would have played the track to you because she's got her
She
on
might have, yeah. I don't know.
She featured on it, so she's obviously must have listened to it at some point.
Yeah. She doesn't listen to that much music around me. But I did want to talk, maybe I'll talk about it at the end, but she did actually go to America pretty much to watch In This Moment, went on Shiprocked, and Papa Roach were there as well. If you heard about Shiprocked, but it's like go on a boat and just go to a festival on a boat. But yeah, I might talk about that a little bit later. That sounded cool.
Nice.
But yeah, Fear, like I said, some of the songs just blew me away. The same one you said, Face Everything and Rise. Such an awesome song from one listen.
Great song. Great song.
Absolute tune, man.
It is a tune. Real big tune, that is.
It's a big wreck.
Yeah, so I will be listening to that some more.
Awesome, man. That's great. I love it. More new music for Adam.
Simon, what is your number 6, please?
Why did you sound... He sounded like, when you watch the snooker and that guy tells everyone to be quiet when they keep clapping.
Quiet in the crowd, please. Quiet in the crowd.
What the hell is going
I'm looking at you, mate, in the yellow shirt. Yeah.
You there in the yellow shirt, please. Can you just keep it down? Thanks, sir.
Could you just, excuse me, man in the yellow shirt. Could you just be quiet and tell me what your number 6 is, please?
My number 6 is Getting Away with Murder. I thought this album was way better than it was. As it turns out, it's still a good Papa Roach album. Obviously, it's almost in the middle. I think it's good. It's not half as good as I remember. I probably haven't listened to this in probably 5 or 6 years, I would say. And I was like, oh, God, can't wait to listen to this album. Don't get me wrong. There's some great tracks on it, and it is good. Just not as good as I remember. Blood. And we keep talking about Papa Roach openers being really good, but Papa Roach are really good with their opening tracks. And Blood is a sick opening track. It's moody as hell.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, we can all agree Getting Away with Murder is probably one of the best, if not top 5 Papa Roach songs. It's a fantastic song. Scars probably became their biggest ballad by far, and one of their biggest songs. So that's an absolute banger. I would say songs you should listen to this album if you haven't. Take Me, Be Free, and Tyranny of Normality are all amazing. Also, I don't know if you guys have seen it or the listeners have seen it. There is a gig to accompany this album called Live and Dangerous in Chicago, and all Papa Roach do is play Infest, Love, Hate, Tragedy, and Getting Away with Murder. Just songs from those first 3 albums, and it is insane. It's such a good gig,
Awesome.
and it's on YouTube in full HD for free. So if you want to watch a really, really good early HD quality Papa Roach gig,
I'm just going to watch that now. So
Live and
you can just
Dangerous
crack
in
on
Chicago.
without me.
It's really good. Yeah, but overall, really good album, but I feel like it suffers from the same thing that Fear does. I feel like it's a half album where the first half is brilliant and it really peters out on the second half. But I would say because of the sort of type of songs and how big they got and how important they are to the Papa Roach DNA, I've put it ahead of Fear, even though in my scores I gave it the same score as Fear. I put this ahead because I feel like it's more important in the growth of Papa Roach as a band, where Fear was obviously when they were completely established, and it was only in 2015. So that's the reason why it's my number 6. Right, we're moving on now. Here we go.
I think that's going to be the only one that we completely disagree on. I think.
Okay, don't spoil anything.
Yeah, okay.
Don't spoil anything. Right, now we are entering, ladies and gentlemen, the top 5. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I really love all of the top 5 albums I've put in.
Agreed. Yeah. I found it very, very hard to put certain albums in front of other albums, because I'm pretty sure, apart from maybe number 1, I reckon all of the rest of these I probably love equally.
Yeah. There's some. Oh, it was really hard to do this top 5. So let's start it off, shall we? Be interesting to see what he's got.
I don't want to give too much away.
I'm so excited. Right, Adam, brother of mine, your top 5. You're into a top 5. Your number 5 Papa Roach album, please, sir.
My number 5 Papa Roach album is Love Hate Tragedy.
Oh, okay. Again.
Yes. Like I said, it was just really difficult to choose, man. Like it was very, very difficult thing to do. And you know, the reason this was my introduction into Papa Roach. This was the album that made me love Papa Roach. You know, as I explained before, when I listened to the first album, didn't like it, thought they were rubbish. And then when I heard this album, that's when my love for Papa Roach, you know, began. And it's fond memories of a band which I have now listened to since that day. But there's still other albums that I think just slightly edge it out for me personally. So, you know, every single song on this album is a banger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Like I don't think there's a bad track on it, to be honest. It's one of those albums you can listen to from start to finish with no issues, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, that's it really. That's literally how I feel about it.
Perfectly good reasons for having it in your top 5. Mr. Coxey, your number 5, please, sir.
Number 5 is The Connection.
Oh, Adam, he finally got there. He finally got to it.
He got there. Are you sure this is The Connection?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. Cool.
I did have to switch The Connection and Ego Trip round, but I didn't tell you about that.
Oh, thanks God for that.
Do you know what, Adam? I reckon his top 10 is just all The Connection, and now he's just making it up.
Yeah. Now he's making it up.
I'm just copying what you're saying.
The only album he's ever heard.
Yeah. But yeah, no, you remember this from when we did the albums that turned 10 years old recently.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. I said a few times I didn't really go back and listen to any of the albums turning 30 or turning 20, but most of those albums that we covered in the albums turning 10, I went back and listened to, and I listened to this one quite a lot at the time as well. I can't pick anything out about it at the moment because I just listen to it as a whole. I don't really look at the names as I'm listening as well. I usually listen at work, so I'm usually quite busy. But I thought it was a really good album, and I couldn't believe I just skipped it for 10 years.
Yeah, that's why I was so glad that you discovered it, because I was worried. Do you remember on the show when I was like, did you listen to The Connection? And I won't give anything away, but I love that album. And I was like, he's going to hate it, isn't he? And you went, do you know what? I absolutely loved it. And I was like, yes!
Yeah.
Yes! It is a good album. It is a really good album. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Anything else you would like to say about it, my sir?
No, that's about it.
Okay.
But I did the same as Adam. Like, the top 5 are all really good albums. Like, the bottom few I've not really listened to, but the ones I have listened to a lot, it's hard to put them in order. So yeah, they're all really good.
I think we're all having issues with this top 5, but I tried my best.
It's a difficult decision to make, man.
It really is. I tried my best
to
to score mine as fairly as I could. Like I said, listen to every song, every album, tried to take away any sort of old things that I used to think about the albums and try and put them in genuinely which I thought was the best album. So my number 5 is Crooked Teeth, which I think is a fantastic Papa Roach album. I think that the issue with Fear, because this was the album that came out after Fear, the issue with Fear was that it was a very half-half kind of album. And although Crooked Teeth does peter out on the last few songs, it's much more of a consistent album all the way through. And I think that there's some really hard-hitting tracks in it. Like, yeah, it's the and this is what I wanted to say as well. Crooked Teeth is the perfect middle ground on what I call modern Papa Roach. So I feel like modern Papa Roach started on The Connection and has gone up now to Ego Trip. That's the like sort of modern Papa Roach, if you would say, like Papa Roach going back to the old sound, ditching the rock and roll style stuff that was on Morphogenesis and Paramore Sessions, and putting some of that in, but also putting in rapping and stuff like that, the stuff that they'd taken away on those albums. And I think that him not rapping really took something away from those albums. I think that's something that he's really good at, and the band does really well musically. But dude, the tracks in this are fantastic. Born for Greatness, incredible. American Dreams, incredible. That run of songs, Born for Greatness, American Dreams, Periscope, and then Help. Help is easily top 5 Papa Roach songs.
Agreed. I agree with that.
An absolute masterpiece of a track. Like, it's just this album is just very, very good, very high quality. The production's great. I would say songs that you should listen to, for anyone listening that you haven't heard of this album, listen to the song Crooked Teeth, which is track number 2, and Periscope. The great thing about Papa Roach that I've noticed that they started to do on albums is they started to do really good electronic ballads. And I'll get into that more when I talk about some other albums, but Periscope is a perfect example of a half rock, half electronic ballad that is really, really good. So yeah, I really like this album, and that was my number 5. I won't babble on about it too much. Mr. Adam, the brother of mine, your number 4, please, sir.
My number 4. Yeah, my number 4 is Infest.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Just an absolute. It's just great through. And like I said, I have a very mixed emotions when it came to this album. Like me not liking it at all. You know, when I first heard the album, but then finding my love for it afterwards, and it will always and forever be, you know, one of the greats. It's got some of their most iconic songs on it. You know, it's the songs that made them who they are on this album. And it's just absolutely great, you know, to listen to what they were to what they are now, sort of thing, and how they've changed, and also how they haven't changed.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just it's a very, very important part of the band's journey in general. You know, and I just think it's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Really, really good album. Totally agree with everything you said. I have some things to say about it, and I'll bring it up when I do. But yeah, totally agree with everything.
Yeah.
Mr. Adamalo Cox, your number 4, please, sir.
Infest.
Oh!
Yeah.
I think me and you, Adam, are very similar. More similar than you thought.
Yeah, I think we are.
Would be. But yeah, incredible album. I can't really say much more than that. I think obviously I didn't grow up with you two listening to these albums. I think it was a bit different with me and my friends. I was always the one into music the most out of all my friends, I think. And so I think I got this album quite early and I fell in love with it straight away. I think it was the same with In and Out From as well. When they were discovering the singles that were just blowing up and everyone was loving them, I was already listening to the albums. And I was well ahead of them, and I was superior in every way. No.
You were the superior music friend.
Yeah, no, it's like I was getting into everything as early as I could, and I really loved this album, fell in love with it. So much that I bought a second album. That's not been brought up for a long time. There's so many bands that
Yeah, this must be one of the only
loved the
bands
first album
that you've bought. Second album.
Loved the first album and just didn't even bother with the second one. I was like, I don't want to listen to him anymore. I don't know why I did that. But yes, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing
really good album. Really good. Yeah, so my number 4 is The Connection. And like I said, this top 5 was really hard. And if it was a different day, The Connection may be higher. I still think number 4 is good because I consider all the top 5 to be very, very good albums. But yeah, I mean, the reason I really like The Connection is, like I said before, after Morphogenesis, I was like, oh, there's a new Papa Roach album coming out. It's just going to be rock and roll Papa Roach, and that's not what I want. And that is not what we got on The Connection. We got them going back to a much closer sound to what Papa Roach actually are. In interviews, Jacoby said it's a rediscovery of the basic elements of Papa Roach. That's what The Connection was. They brought back the rapping. They brought back the heavier distortion. They brought back the more nu metal, alternative metal kind of sound. And I think that even actually, this is when they started to including electronic stuff, electronic samples and sounds in the music. And I think to this day, that's only made Papa Roach better. It's made their music sound better to me. So this is, I think, the first jumping off point for modern Papa Roach when it started to sound really, really good. Start to finish, every song's great. Literally, I can listen to this album from start to finish. There is not a bad song or a piece of filler at all on this album. It's tune. And the energy of this album is incredible. It gets you proper pumped up. Most underrated songs on it, and songs I think you should listen to. Well, definitely listen to Where Did the Angels Go, because it's probably the heaviest Papa Roach track, I would say, or one of the heaviest Papa Roach tracks. Wish You Never Met Me, incredible. And a song that I think that doesn't get talked about enough, because it sounds like it's from Infest, is Won't Let Up. It's like third to last song on the album. It is an amazing nu metal callback masterpiece. That's what we'll call it. Also, Before I Die is the first time they tried one of these electronic ballads, like I said before. And that goes hand in hand with Gravity, Periscope, and all the others that came afterwards. But this was the first one they sort of tested the water with like an electronic, sound-driven ballad. And it's so good. Like, this album is just great. I love it. Go listen to The Connection if you haven't before. It's a fantastic Papa Roach album. Right, let's move on to, we're getting to the good stuff now. We're getting right up there, boys. Right.
All the good stuff.
Adam, brother of mine.
Yes.
Your number 3, please, sir.
My number 3 is Crooked Teeth.
Oh, okay.
It's just great. It's like you said before, it has a slight issue of like maybe the last couple of tracks petering off a little bit. But other than that, it's just great. Like, all, Born for Greatness is one of my, it's probably top 5 Papa Roach songs.
It's a great song
for me. It's just an absolute, Help. I'm pretty sure, right? The track Help, since this song has been released, I'm pretty sure it's on every single playlist I've made since that. Nice, any playlist that I make now, I'm pretty sure Help is on there as well. It's just an absolutely fantastic album. They've done a deluxe version of the album as well, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they did. They with extra songs on.
Yeah. It was mostly live stuff that they put on there, if I remember correctly. But it's just great to, listen to, if you get a chance. If you haven't listened to the deluxe version, check it out, because it is really, really, really good.
Yeah, awesome, man, wicked. Right, Adamanto Cox, what is your number 3, sir?
Number 3 is Love Hate Tragedy.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's not much else I can say more than what either of you have said. I think the first 3 albums were sort of very specific sort of time of our youth, wasn't it? And
yes, definitely.
We didn't have jobs, we weren't busy, so we could listen to music all the fucking time. So I think that could be why the first 3 albums are so high up on mine. But I know what I was doing. My top 4, actually, I know what I was doing the whole time I was listening to these albums. The other ones, I've listened to them every now and then. But yeah, when they can take you back to a specific time in your life and remember, you've listened to it so many times.
Yeah.
To make it, that makes that connection.
It's a great album, dude. It's a fantastic
Just
album.
can't get the connection out of his brain, man.
Can't get the connection.
Why is that not your number one, bro?
Connection. Yeah, dude.
But yeah, like you said, I struggle to go through the song names. I'm not even on the right album. But yeah, there were so many on this album that were good songs. So many. I probably learned a lot of the song names from the songs because I listened to them so much as well, not actually reading the back of the CD.
That's true. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. Definitely one of those CDs that I wore out. But we'll get to that. My number 3 is Infest. Now, there's a bit of a caveat with this one because, well, not caveats, but things we need to actually say about this. This album went 3 times platinum. Right, listen to this. This is how popular nu metal was in the early 2000s, right? It was released in April 2000, and 1 year later, in April 2001, it had already gone 3 times platinum.
Jesus.
Within 1 year. That just shows, like I'll put in here, the importance of this record cannot be understated. It created helped to define an entire genre and an entire era of music with other bands. This album is up there with Hybrid Theory, Chocolate Starfish, Slipknot, and Toxicity. It's in that conversation when you talk about nu metal, and I don't think what people don't realize about nu metal is it's the biggest and most sales, gigs, money metal has ever made. And I think that's why people look down on it, because it's when metal was the most popular, so it was the closest it's ever been to pop, but also I think that it's the greatest era that metal has ever had, personally. What do you think, Ad?
I agree.
It's so popular. Like, surely that has to be, people say, they look down on it because it was popular, but something has to be great for it to be popular. Like, so that it makes no sense when people have that train of thought, because it's obviously amazing if so many people love it. It's ridiculous.
I know, but I never hear anyone talking up nu metal. People always talk down nu metal. They never go, "Oh, it was a great time when there was loads of cool music and people were dressing awesome."
But they didn't live through it. That's why it's so important for our age group. They didn't live through it like we did, man. It was there. It was present in all of our lives. Everything we did had some connection to, a person or a singer or a band that had something to do with nu metal at the time. It was just part of us,
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, just listen to this track listing for the first 6 songs: Infest, Last Resort, Broken Home, Dead Cell, Between Angels and Insects, and Blood Brothers. That is ludicrous. And I mean literally ridiculous for the first 6 songs of your album. I will say the one reason why this isn't top of my list is between Blood Brothers and Thrown Away / Tightrope, which is 2 of the best Papa Roach songs by far. The songs in between are not great. I feel like the album has a tiny little bit of filler on it towards the end, but then once you get to the last 2 tracks, one Thrown Away and the secret track Tightrope, it's fantastic again. But that's the reason why I've put the other 2 that I've got ahead of it, because I never remembered this, but there is a tiny bit of filler on this album, believe it or not. Well, from my point of view anyway. Other people might not think that, but I feel like it's got a little bit of filler on the end. But the importance of this album cannot be understated. It's where it all began for Papa Roach. It was in the mix during the most popular time of metal, so I feel like it deserves to be number 3. Right, before we go into our top 2 Papa Roach albums, let's talk about live and seeing Papa Roach. And, have you seen them? Will you see them again? Would you like to see them this year? Will they play Download? Let's talk about that. No, I'm joking. Yes, Papa Roach live. What are your guys' feelings on them? When have you seen them?
Shall I go first? Well, I knew this would come up, so I thought I've only really seen them at Download, so I should probably look up all the times they've played at Download.
Okay.
I thought about doing it, but I didn't do it. Silly me. I think it's probably only a couple of times that I've seen them. I would have seen them every time that I could have while they were there. I don't remember how many times we played. We discussed this. It's all a blur to me now every year. But I've never seen them on their own tour. I've never seen them with anybody else's on anybody else's tour. If they toured, yeah, I'm sure they would have done.
Yeah, they would have done. They would have been. They've been over here a hell of a lot, and like loads of times. Adam, what brother of mine? What about you?
For me, dude, I've just for some reason never really found the right time to go and see them on their own tours when they're here, or whether they're playing in a part of the country that I'm, can't get to easily. So same as Adam, my experiences of Papa Roach have just been at festivals like Download.
Yeah, do you remember? Okay, so
I probably would have seen them at Download every time you saw them at Download, I would assume.
I've only
them
seen
off the top of my head, couldn't tell you.
I've only seen them at Download twice, which is 2007, which we all went to.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so we saw them. Coxie, did you see them then?
Probably. I don't remember.
That's fine. We know that all of your
that's 15 years ago, 16
years
ago now.
I know. Yeah, that do. That's
a long time ago.
Sounds so old, man. That is.
No, what are you talking about? Rule 21. We're only joking. We don't know. 2007, we were babies.
21? You're my older brother. I'm 36.
We're trying to do something in this podcast, man. Don't tell everyone.
Oh, sorry. I forgot about the rule. My bad.
But yeah,
I'm
2007.
20 if Simon's my older brother.
2007, I remember them being brilliant, loads of energy and all that stuff. And Download 2013, I remember them being excellent as well. Both of those gigs in full are on YouTube as well. So if you want to watch the 2007 Papa Roach gig at Download main stage, that's on YouTube, and the 2013 one, both are excellent. But I think those are the only two times I've seen Papa Roach. Oh, I think I might have seen them in like 2007.
It's very difficult to remember anything else from 2007 because Linkin Park headlined that year, and it was one of the best gigs there has ever been.
Oh yeah, I've said that as well. It's like my top.
So it's very difficult to remember the other stuff that was really good about 2007 because Linkin Park was so goddamn good that it kind of outshone everything else. You know what I mean?
Stole the show that year, didn't they? They really
100% they did, man.
That was nuts. Yeah, right as Minutes to Midnight came out, which is apart from Hybrid Theory, pretty much my favourite Linkin Park album. But yeah, very good. Okay, yeah, so that's the live
episode, Simon, mate. It's...
we'll do Linkin Park. Don't worry about that. We'll get round to doing a Linkin Park special. Don't worry about that. So yeah, okay. So as it turns out, we haven't seen Papa Roach live that much between us. Considering that we all really like this.
It's difficult, man. Yeah, it sucks. Well, the same goes for like a band like 3 Days Grace. Simon, like 3 Days Grace are one of my favourite bands, and I've only recently seen them in the last couple of years. Because they don't play here a lot, or timing or schedules and stuff. So it can be really difficult to even see, one of your favourite bands as much as you want to,
Yeah, totally understand. Right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are entering the top 2 P. Roach albums. Can you remember what everyone said before? Probably not, so it will be a surprise.
I kind of can, I think.
I think I kind of can. I think I know what your 2 are going to be. But okay, Adam, the brother of mine, your number 2 Papa Roach album is?
My number 2 Papa Roach album is Getting Away with Murder.
Okay.
And the reason for that is it was the first time I got to experience Papa Roach without any negative feelings or worry about whether I was going to like it or not. Because obviously not liking the first album, then really liking the second album, and then having to go back to the first album, and then it was all over the place, my experience for Papa Roach, But now, when this album came out, it was the first time I could really experience Papa Roach as a real fan of theirs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went into this album, loving the band. There was no like doubts about whether I was going to like it or not. I just had a feeling. I knew it was going to be good, and it did not disappoint. I really felt this was like, it just really hit home for me, like instantly. Like some of the tracks, it was just amazing. It was just absolutely my first real like proper experience of Papa Roach. Pretty much, this album was.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. Like I said about the album before, Getting Over Your Murder is like top 5 Papa Roach songs. Scars was a huge deal, and I don't think that there
like
is.
You said, Scars is one of their big ballads, wasn't it? So
yeah. I think overall that is a fantastic album and deserves to be. I know it was number 6 on mine, but on another day it could have been higher. But yeah, dude.
Like I think one of my favorite, like Take Me, was one of my favorite albums on that track. It was on that album. It was so good, man.
Yeah, love that.
It was my favorite song of that song. So
favorite song of the song. Okay, Mr. Adam Coxey, your number 2, please, sir.
Getting Away with Murder.
Wow.
we really did sync up, man. We really did.
We did.
Yeah, he's your real brother.
Well, very, very similar, weren't we? Apart from one thing, I think. But again, the same as you. Like, there's so many good songs on this one. I listened to it a lot, and I think when you really, I don't know, you're probably a bit more, Simon. You're a bit more. I want to say clinical. I don't think that's the right word, but you could analytical maybe. And when you say there's like filler tracks, and I think sometimes when you really like a band and really want to like a band, you don't really hear the filler tracks. They're still good tracks. If that makes sense. So this one, I think I looked through it again just a minute ago just to remind myself, but I didn't think there was really many filler tracks in this one, or dies
I
off
agree with
towards
you.
the end.
I agree with you on that, Adam. Like I know Simon said about the filler tracks and stuff, but
I only said there was a few. I get you.
I wanted to like this album so much that, like what you just said, Adam, I didn't hear the filler tracks. I heard every song for what it was, and I ended up loving all of them.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean that's why this is great, because we're getting everyone else's opinion, and even though we all agree that we all pretty much like every Papa Roach album at least a little bit,
yeah, of course.
That it's great to see that, you know, some of the stuff that I consider filler, you two don't consider filler, which is great.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, my number 2, and this was so difficult. I'm still tempted to swap these two around.
No, don't do it now, Simon. Go with your gut. Go with your
I'm going to go with my gut.
Switch them. Say it how it is.
Okay, my number 2 is Love Hate Tragedy, which is a incredible album. And the thing that sucks about this is at the time it was super unappreciated. The fans didn't like it. The critics didn't like it. No one liked it, I don't think, apart from me at the time. On reflection and people re-reviewing now and going back to it, people consider it to be a very good Papa Roach album. But at the time, they kind of stepped away a little bit from what they'd done on Infest, and I think that people were just gagging for more Infest, and that's not what they gave to everyone. So that's why I think Meteora done so well for Linkin Park, because even though it was different to Hybrid Theory, pretty much it's very similar to what Hybrid Theory was. I think if Linkin Park would have done what Papa Roach done...
Papa Roach.
Yep, sorry, but I'm just saying, I was just about to bring, before you rudely interrupted me, I was about to bring it back to Papa Roach. But I think...
Sorry about that.
It's fine. I think if Papa Roach, if Linkin Park were to have done that, they would have got the same response that Papa Roach got on Love Hate Tragedy. But overall, it's a better album than Infest because it's a more consistent album. There's no filler on this album. Every single song is good. Like Adam, brother of mine, you said before, start to finish, this album's incredible. There's not a bad song on it. There's not a bit of filler anywhere on this album. Born with Nothing, Die with Everything. Chorus riff is one of the best Papa Roach riffs. Standard. It is a disgusting song. If you've never heard that song, go and listen to Born with Nothing, Die with Everything. Listen to the song Love, Hate, Tragedy and Walking Through Barbed Wire. Probably not songs that people from you know, Papa Roach would recommend to you. Not the hits, but they're good. This is a good fact. And you said this earlier to me before we started this, Adam Cox. She Loved Me Not, Walking Through Barbed Wire and Time Again were all originally supposed to be on Infest. They were recorded in the 1999 demos, one of which Adam sent me earlier, which was Tightrope. But yeah, those 3 songs should have been on Infest. And if those 3 songs were on Infest would be ahead of this album because there would have been no filler on it. So I feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot by not putting those albums on. I'm not sure why that didn't happen at the time, but they were originally supposed to be on. But my overall takeaway, don't listen to what people say about this album or said about this album. It's a much better album than Infest is, although it does not contain the hits that Infest does. Unfortunately, it doesn't get the recognition.
That also touches back on what I said earlier about having to spend time with an album, you know, because obviously, like you said, the critics, the fans didn't really like it when it was first released. And now in reflection of that, people look back, they've listened to it over the years, and now they rank it or rate it much higher than they originally did. Sometimes you just need to let it simmer, man. You need to, you need to live with it for a bit, breathe it in like a fine wine, just...
Drink it in, man.
And it did, and it has matured as as an album over the years in people's minds.
Definitely, 100% matured into and the cover's red, so it's a beautiful piece of wine. Drink it in, people.
Yeah.
Drink it in. Also, I must say, one of the weirdest album covers of all time. A baby wearing headphones.
On Spotify, actually, it's very strange. It's very Nirvana-esque, isn't it?
I remember buying it and thinking, Is this the actual cover for the album, or have I been duped here? No.
Yeah.
It's...
See, I don't remember the baby being on it before today. I was like, it's just a blank red cover, isn't it? That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh no, it's got a baby with headphones on.
Maybe it was so bad that your mind erased the baby from it.
Maybe, yeah. Repressed that memory.
As far as I'm aware, the baby's always been on it, but I could be wrong.
It's not even a real baby either.
No, it's a fake.
If you're gonna go in hard, man. Go all Nirvana style. Put a real baby in the water.
Yeah. Don't just. I never thought about that actually. The fact that it's not even a real baby; it's just a doll.
It's not even a real baby. It's just a doll. It's like the laziest album cover ever. It's not even a real baby, mate. It's genuinely just a kid's toy.
Yeah, that's a weird choice for an album.
What I want to know is though, this is what I want to know about it is it a really big baby or is it a really small pair of headphones?
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Think about that.
Do you know what I think?
I just blew your mind, mate.
I think they're normal size headphones, and that's a big baby.
Yeah, I think it's a big baby too. I was thinking that. I was hoping someone was going to agree with me.
Or do you reckon that that's what they done? They went, dude, this baby's so big, we have to take a picture of it.
Yeah. So, mate, why is this baby? It's like the Elephant Man syndrome or something. What's wrong with this baby, man?
Put some headphones on it. Oh, yeah, man. Make the hands do the devil's...
That'd be a really good idea, yeah. Put some headphones on that baby, man. Let me take a picture of that.
Oh, that is fucking
It's just a very strange concept, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. I could put, Adam Cox blocked that out.
Because I think all their other album covers are either like drawings and designs, or they're not pictures. This is blatantly just a picture with like a screen behind it, and they've just edited the background or something. Yeah. So that it was very strange.
I mean, can we just for a second just talk Papa Roach covers, because some of them, like some of them are like Papa Roach don't go overboard with their covers. Like Fear is just a picture of mountains and the sky. And then obviously that one is just a baby.
Dude, Getting Away with Murder is pretty messed up.
Yeah. Do you know what though? That's an ugly looking cover though.
Yeah.
It's horrible, man.
It's a really ugly looking cover. It's not something you want to stare at that. Where the Connection cover is sick.
Oh, mate.
That is really cool album cover. And I think Ego Trip's a really cool cover as well.
That's really funky as well, yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. So yeah, theirs is kind of hit and miss. Some of them are a bit and then some of them are
Paramore Sessions are just standard. It's just print on that one with a black background.
Really rare. But you're right, they don't normally go overboard or have pictures. They normally have drawings or font.
Yeah. So that was one of those sort of stood out, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
They don't really have a style either. It's just random every time.
Yeah,
that's true.
There's no continuity to any of it, is there? Really?
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I never thought about that. They just every album cover is just whatever at the time they want to do. No fitting in. No doing anything.
Even the cover of "Who Do You Trust," I think, sums up that album quite well, doesn't it? And how we felt about it.
Yeah.
Very,
I'm drowning. Drowning in this.
It's like David Attenborough's about to start talking. Do you know what I mean? He's about to explain to you what the album's about.
I've just realised I'm drowning in
Blue
the boringness
Planet
of this
2.
album. Blue Planet 2. He's drowning in
Blue
it.
Planet by Papa Roach.
Oh, right. Okay. Before we talk about our favourite Papa Roach albums, I must say they've had a very good run up to now. And the thing about Papa Roach albums now is now I'm always so hyped for them. I'm always worried I'm going to be disappointed. Now, I will say the only one I've been disappointed with in recent future has been Who Do You Trust? Everything else I've been either happy with or very happy with. But like we were talking about Slipknot, it's really interesting time for sort of metal, alternative metal, because the new metal sound is coming in again massively. So I'm really interested to see what Papa Roach, and a lot of Ego Trip is very new metal-y. So I'm just interested to see what they come out with next, or who even knows what they're going to do. Like, it's quite an interesting time, to be a Papa Roach fan. But anyway, let's move on. Here we go.
I'm excited to spend more time with Ego Trip, to be fair. Like I said earlier, why it's a little bit further down the list.
Yeah,
I think I am really going to enjoy that album more and more. The more and more I listen to it, I think it's
worth it.
Fantastic.
It really is worth it, definitely. That album just gets better and better. Right, Adam, brother of mine, your favourite Papa Roach album, if you would, sir.
My favourite Papa Roach album, sponsored by me, is The Connection.
Yes. Good.
It's just. I know you'd like that, Adam, because you've been speaking about it all day.
Yeah.
It's just great, man. From literally starting off with like big tracks, Engage, Still Swinging, Where Do the Angels Go, Silence is the Enemy, Before I Die, Wish You Never Met Me. It hits. And another big reason this is top of my list is I love rock music. I love rock music, of course I do, but I also like a lot of electronic music.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of dubstep and a lot of electro and some EDM. And so I know my genres of music are very varied when it comes to music in general, but that is one of the main reasons why it is my top album. It has everything that I love about music in this album.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely fantastic from start to finish.
Well, it's when they started first putting really, not background, but, front forward electronic samples in. And I know that you like that. So they started to experiment with it then, which is probably why you enjoyed it so much.
And in all honesty, I was like, can P Roach really get better than what they are? Because I loved who they were before this album.
Yeah.
And then when they started making music like this, I was like, well, I was clearly wrong. It definitely got better. For me personally, anyway, they just got better and better. And it was just, it's just an absolute treat, that album all the way through.
It is. Yeah, no filler. I agree. It was my number 4. Could have easily been swapped to 3, 2, or 1. Any of those could have gone. I agree. Connection. Adcox, I'm sure you'll agree that Connection's a great album.
Yeah. I wonder, because I'm into a lot of melodic like death metal that's got a lot of electronic stuff in. So I wonder if that's why I liked it so much when I listened to it. I can't really remember it much at the moment.
Yeah. It's definitely up there. Definitely. It's definitely up there for albums, and all good points. Well done, Ad. Right, Adam Cox, your favourite Papa Roach.
Adam, brother of Simon's. We've been so similar all the way through. Do you know which one I haven't said yet? You don't?
Is it Getting Away with Murder you haven't said yet?
No, I haven't said Metamorphosis yet.
Oh,
you're number 10.
I called it at the beginning. Oh, that's going to be a funny number 1. Oh God.
Well, it was Adam's number 10 and my number 9.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of it, though, isn't it? Where it's like we said at the beginning, we like every single one of these albums, but what order you place them in is purely down to a personal preference. And Metamorphosis is still a good album. It's just
definitely,
and it's always going to mean more to one person than another. So fantastic, mate.
I will be
reasoning behind it.
I'm very interested to hear why. Go on, Ed.
Yeah, so I thought about the possibility of the reason why we've been talking, actually, because I didn't really listen to Paramore Sessions very much, so I didn't have much expectation going to this album.
Yeah,
maybe I didn't have as much expectation as much as you guys did. But I took this album with me to uni. I had it. It's one of the few like physical albums that I took with me. I think I got it like the day before or 2 days before I left for uni, and I spent a lot of time sat in my room. So there was probably 8 to 10 albums that I listened to a lot. You know, I listened to other stuff because Spotify had just come out at that point. But this was one of them that sort of helped get me through. Well, I didn't help get me through. I mean, it wasn't like uplifting or anything like that. But yeah, I listened to it a hell of a lot. And I just I don't know. Yeah, I just loved every song on it. I can't really say why. Just I suppose because I listened to it a lot.
But I'll tell you what it is. It's what I was talking about earlier. It's the nostalgia. It was you were listening to this album. It was one of the few albums that you physically had with you at the time. In a very important part of your life. Going to uni is a big deal for a lot of people. So I think that's it, because you can't put actual words to it. That's probably what it is. It's that nostalgia. It's how you felt at that point in your life while listening to that album. And that's what connects you to it. Yeah, 100%, man. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I want to talk about that after, actually. Yeah, so we'll go, Simon. You go next.
Okay, my number one album from
Papa
Roach
really bad.
is Ego Trip.
Yeah, I thought so.
That's right.
I said that to you yesterday, didn't I, Simon?
Yeah, the last Papa Roach album is absolutely. And now, don't get me wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 could all swap round, but I'm telling you right now, Ego Trip will always be within that top 5 because it is amazing. It is an album with no filler, absolute bangers, gone back to a very nu metal-y sound, a lot of rapping, a lot of hard riffs. It's twice the album that Infest ever was. I know it doesn't have the hits on it that Infest had, but song-wise, there is not a second to rest on this album. It is wow. Kill the Noise like a punch in the throat as soon as you start that album. The production is absolutely incredible. It's so punchy. If you listen to it, actually, me and Adam, brother of mine, we've listened to a lot of these songs in your car, haven't we? Off the new album.
Yeah.
And they just, especially with a really good stereo. Yeah, with a really good stereo like Adam's got in his car.
With a full banging Olsen system. Yeah, they sound fantastic.
They literally just bang, straight away. And
so just heavy and just naughty, man. It's just, they're very, very just big. Naughty. Like you said before, punch you in the face tunes, mate. And that's literally what they are.
It's so punchy. You got songs like Stand Up, which is just incoherent, massive rapping, amazing stuff. Swerve, which has got some other, I think it's Fever 333 and some other rappers on it. Then you got like Bloodline, Liar. You've got Ego Trip, which essentially is a Bring Me the Horizon clone. It's like you took a Bring Me the Horizon song, copied it over to a Papa Roach album, and just made Jacoby Shaddix put vocals on it, which is fine, but it's incredible. Then you've got like ballady sort of heavy ones, like Dying to Believe is great. Killing Time is another like nu metal-y rap one. And then you've got Always Wondering, No Apologies, Cut the Line. It is just a plethora of banger after banger after banger. It is, for me, the pinnacle of new era Papa Roach. And I'm worried about what they're going to do next because I have a feeling they might move away from this, or they might delve further into the sort of modern nu metal sound that a lot of bands are going for. But for me personally, on an album level, like I said, on different days they could change, but today, for me, the pinnacle of Papa Roach is Ego Trip, their last album. Phenomenal album. And Adam and both of the Adams, seriously, go and spend some more time with it, and I think it will move way up.
100% I will, dude. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it will move. It will just keep on going, skyrocketing. But yeah, that was it. That was our hour together, me and the Adams, our top 10 Papa Roach albums. So what we're going to do is I will make a playlist with all the songs that both of the Adams send me and just your standard Papa Roach hits, but all the songs that we want to include on that playlist, which we'll put in together. That should be in the description of the episode, which Ad will link in there for all you guys to go and listen to. But yeah, that was awesome, guys.
Simon,
I'm
gonna
go on.
Sorry, dude. I'm going to throw a track in there that I'm going to send your way that isn't actually featured on any of the albums that we've mentioned. It's actually a song featuring Papa Roach, and I know you love this song, Simon.
Dude, I was going to talk about this in like a couple of minutes.
It is a song called "Anxiety," which is the Black Eyed Peas featuring Papa Roach, and no word of a lie, it's one of my favorite Papa Roach songs. It's so good.
Yeah,
it's
great
so,
album,
so
by the way.
Good. So yeah.
Ella Funk, bring Black Eyed Peas. Great album all the way through, and it has a Papa Roach song on here.
Yeah. It was very strange when we first heard of it. I was like, Simon's like, yeah, P Roach are on the new Black Eyed Peas album. I was like, what are you talking about? Someone's lied to you, man. This is not a real thing that's happened. And then he played it to me, and I was like, dude, that is what a hit that is. It's such a great track, and I just think it gets overlooked when people talk about Papa Roach because it's like, mixed with a completely different genre. But what a track it is. What an absolute track it is.
Do you know what's weird about that? In hindsight, it's not weird that they were on that album because Black Eyed Peas pre-Fergie were a proper hip-hop group. And what other type of music was as big as nu metal in the early 2000s? Hip-hop. And they toured with Blink-182. I think they might have even toured with Papa Roach. And I know that Black Eyed Peas toured with a lot of sort of more alternative bands in like the late 90s, early 2000s before they got bigger their pop stuff once Fergie joined. So at the time we were like, what? But actually looking at it objectively in the in the future, sense. It kind of makes sense that they would have Papa Roach on one of their albums. But Adam Cox, have you ever heard that song?
No, I haven't. I'm looking forward to hearing this whole playlist, if I'm honest, and picking out some. Well, listening to some of the songs that you pick out from the albums that I haven't really listened to that much.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Adam, that's a great idea, dude. We'll definitely 100% stick that on the playlist. But yeah, I really enjoyed listening to your picks, guys. That was great, and a lot of ours were the same, but also a lot of ours were different, which is really good. Like.
It was weird because so like I lined up with Simon for the first like 4 or 5, and then after that, mine and Adam's were very similar going upwards, and yours and Adam's were just completely different.
Oh my god, that always happens with us, too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well.
That's why I'm always surprised.
I expected that was going to happen with you two. To be fair,
obviously
listening
me too.
to the podcast myself, I knew that your opinions on the albums were going to differ quite heavily, and they did, which is a good thing. So it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Diversity.
No, I love it. But yeah, that's it. So Adam, back over to you to holler out or do whatever. You had something else you wanted to talk about, didn't you?
Yeah, well, just about the nostalgia thing that we were talking about. I have been thinking about that a bit recently, and you said that you tried to listen to all of these albums without the nostalgia there. There's no way I could do that. But I'm sure there's been like so much research into nostalgia in music, or looking at it with nose tinted glasses, not rose tinted glasses. And that's the kind of thing I would find really interesting. So I would love to do an episode about that kind of thing at some point, if I can find somewhere that I'd be able to find some research into it. I don't know where to even start looking, but
people have 100% studied like nostalgia without a doubt. Nostalgia and melancholy and all that sort of stuff that must all go hand in hand with studies, surely.
Yeah. But the other thing is, what I found interesting, because you said the Ego Trip is like twice the album that Infest was, but without the hits, and that's another thing I want to look into. Like, why was new metal and metal at that time so big? Like, it just blew up, and I don't think it's ever going to get that big ever again.
Well, you say that, but people in the 70s probably would have said that when rock was the biggest thing. You know, your Zeppelins, your Lizzies, your everything. And then
true. Everything comes full circle, man.
Yeah, I think with music, it's like every 30 or 40 years, metal or rock music kind of has its turn. You know, hip hop has its turn. Pop's always there, but sometimes it really, the boy band craze and all that sort of stuff. And everything has its time, and it will happen again. I think it will happen in our lifetime. We might not like it.
Sometimes it's one band that tips the balance.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and you know what? I think it's coming. I think it's coming sooner than you think, Adam, to be honest, because I think Bring Me the Horizon are genuinely bringing us into a new era of music where they are bringing in something that everyone listens to, and not just metalheads or people who like rock music. They're one of those bands, you know what I mean? And I think they might be the tipping point again, possibly.
Yeah,
that is interesting. Yeah, because I was going to say with things like Spotify, you don't like you said with Infest going like 3 times platinum in the first year. That's because everybody went out and bought it, but people don't do that anymore. They just listen to it online. So I didn't think anything was going to blow up as much as that. But yeah, that it does seem like Bring Me the Horizon could do that. If anyone, it'll be Bring Me.
Yeah,
because everyone seems to love them.
Yeah. Like I think I've said this to you before, Ad. Bring Me the Horizon have filled the giant Linkin Park hole in the music industry. Since Linkin Park,
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, since Linkin Park are one of the biggest bridge bands of all time. You get into Linkin Park, before you know it, you're listening to Decapitated. You know, you can't trace that journey when it happened, but you all know it started with Linkin Park.
But the thing is, with Linkin Park as well, like you could walk up to a group of metalheads or a group of emo kids, and they're obviously going to know who Linkin Park are. But you could walk up to, you could do interviews with people at a drum and bass gig, and they'd know who Linkin Park are. You could go to a reggae gig, they'd know who Linkin Park are. They were that band, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah. And you're right. I think that
Bring Me knew who they were.
Yeah, Bring Me are filling that void of being perfectly in between being a pop band and being a metal band, but being weirdly somewhere in between those two and not quite being one or the other.
100%.
And that's what you mean. Like Adam, you talked about people at your work saying that they wanted to go to Download when they've never mentioned anything to do with Download to you before.
Yeah.
It just shows you the effect that Bring Me the Horizon are having on, on the general, music industry and people around. And it's great. And the best thing is they're fucking headlining Download this year.
That's going to be so good, man. Yeah. So refreshing as well, isn't it? Like, I know you guys speak about it a lot, about the old guard and all that kind of stuff. I feel the same way about it as you guys do. I love these bands, man. I love your Iron Maidens. I love your Metallicas. I genuinely do. But it has to change sometimes, right? It has to evolve at some point. And I think them getting Bring Me to headline Download, this year now, I was going to say next year, is a big step forward, man. I really think it is.
Yeah.
Huge.
Even if you're not massively into them, I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
But they countered it by getting Metallica to play twice.
Yeah, I know. Talk about putting a downer on the first time. Yeah. Let's give the fans what they want, but also not. It's like a backhanded compliment. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's like, come on, guys, man, give us a chance here, man. We'll give you Bring Me the Horizon. I'll see you'll Bring Me the Horizon, and I'll give you 2 nights of Metallica.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally got what you mean. But I mean, listen, you can say this, right? Yes, Metallica are responsible for selling a lot of tickets for Download. But I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't be the fastest selling Download ever, which it is, without Bring Me the Horizon on that list of bands.
And obviously Slipknot coming into that as well, obviously.
I mean, it's a banger of a headline festival, but Bring Me
fantastic.
Yeah, Bring Me are massively responsible for selling a shed load of tickets for that festival this year.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, of course they are.
I know Metallica, you put Metallica in, it's fair enough.
And the fact that we've seen so many people saying it's their first time going. I saw a lot of people saying that last year, but I put that down to there's been 2 years missed or 3 years missed.
Yeah,
it was only two. Not including the pilot. And so it had the accumulation of all the people that would have been new at the first one and then new at the second one. But this time it's even more than I saw.
Oh God! On my YouTube videos, dude, every comment is, "It's my first download. It's my first download. It's my first download." It's like, wow, they have really attracted people with this. I mean, the lineup in general one of the best download I've ever got so far. We're not even finished with it yet, but they really have managed to attract a lot of new people with this, and bring me.
The festival obviously wasn't in danger of going under or anything like that, but I assume it probably has lost a bit of money over the years, just through popularity and not as many people being able to go. Or
definitely,
I know the ticket sales haven't been as much for like the past 5 years, right, as what they previously were.
Yeah.
So and now obviously maybe this will convince them that the change is good. That doing things like this is a good thing for the festival and for the industry in general.
Yeah, and like you said before, I think it's
continue to make good decisions like that.
It's bring me pushing metal into people's consciousness as well. The closer, this is the weird thing to say about, right? Because you have a lot of guardians of metal that don't want it anywhere near. But the closer metal gets to the mainstream, the more it's in people's thoughts. Thus, the more sort of popular it is. But metal never oversteps that mark where it becomes pop music and every other song on the radio is a metal song or a rock song, because that's not going to happen.
I don't think it ever will. No, yeah.
The closest thing we got to that was the new metal era, which was every other song was a new metal song.
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit on MTV. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's
Limp Bizkit doing live gigs on MTV, like filmed there and then. Like, that shows you what sort of how incredibly insane new metal was. And that was after it had kind of died. That was in 2003, once really new metal was considered to be dead. But obviously Limp Bizkit were so big at that time, they were still sort of pushing it forward. I know after that they didn't make an album for God knows how long. But yeah, anyway, it's not getting so. We've gone off on one again. We've gone off what we originally talking about, Ad. What we originally talking about. Nostalgia. Nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia. Yeah. But no, I pretty much finished that because I said I also want to talk about at some point, talk about psychology in music. Anyway, I think that's a huge thing. It's something that I'm massively interested in learning about because I just like stats and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
maybe we won't do an episode on it, but if I find something and it's interesting, then maybe we will.
Okay, yeah.
It's about the state of mind that you're in when you listen to certain music, in it. I think that's where a lot of the nostalgia, why emo was so big, because you had a lot of miserable teenagers that were listening to it, and it spoke to them. The music spoke to them, and now, even though they may not be emo kids now, they'll always remember that as a good time, even though technically being an emo means you're miserable. But at the same time, they still have a load of fond memories about being an emo kid, because
it's true.
It's all wrapped up in that mind. It's all wrapped up in that mindset and the nostalgia for the music and where they were in their lives at the time.
Well, for us, I mean,
I know what you mean.
All of our music was, the new metal era was fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. We were pissed off at everyone. We were like, do you know what, man? Fuck you.
Yeah, man.
Listen to fucking Papa Roach and rock
We were
out.
angry because we were at the age where we had to get jobs and our mums didn't have to do everything for us anymore. And we were angry that we had to pay taxes and pay rent and shit that we'd never experienced. So new metal came around just at the right time for us.
That's true. That is very true. Oh, but yeah, anyway, Adam.
Okay. For shit.
Yeah. What? Stick on some Linkin Park, man.
That's why I did 6 years of college.
Yeah, that's it. Loopholes, baby, loopholes.
But yeah, it's probably about time to wrap up. Then we could probably talk for hours and hours just about random shit. But let's not do that. We'll have to have you on again. Adam, brother of Simon's.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Adam, not brother of Simon's.
Adam, brother of mine. Be honest. Have you enjoyed it?
Yes, I have. Yeah, dude, I've listened to every episode, man. You know that.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Adam's. Big fan.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Really.
No, that's no problem at all, mate. I mean, if you went on the show, I probably wouldn't listen, to be honest, because I don't. Who does really like Simon Bond that much? He couldn't carry it by himself, mate. All right.
That's true. That's very true. I'm not debating that fact. Yeah.
He's already got his YouTube channel. You know what I mean? And that's failing.
It's failing.
Failing? It's just on the up. You cheap.
It's not. I'm joking. I just watched your 500 subscribers video. It was good.
Okay. Wicked.
Yeah, it's good. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll tell everybody where to go to watch that. But I want to know, what band should we do next? Any ideas?
What band
Korn's
should
got to be done at some point.
I was going to say Korn would be an obvious one to do next for one of our band specials.
I mean, it's clear what band Simon has on his mind, because he kept on, instead of talking about Papa Roach, he was talking about Linkin Park, and maybe you guys should do Linkin Park next. I don't. Listen, they've got enough albums, they've got enough music.
Whatever. I'm up for doing anything.
Ask the people, man. Do a poll. Let them choose. Let the people choose.
We'll stick it in the Discord.
Yeah.
Do a poll.
We'll do a poll.
And give me plenty of time to actually listen to the albums properly this time.
Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. I don't know if I was gonna say I don't know if we'll actually pick a certain amount of bands for you to choose from, or you just chuck some bands at us. We don't know. We'll work out what we're gonna do. But yeah, it's probably about time to wrap it up there. Adam, it's been awesome having you on. It's awesome speaking to you again. We haven't spoken for like 6 months or 7 months now. It's only 5 months till download.
Oh man, I can't wait. So
yeah.
No, it's been an honor, man. I know Simon always said he should come on one time, and it was like, oh, do you want to do this episode? Oh no, I'm busy or whatever. But yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to come on, man. Thanks, you guys. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Simon, we talked about your YouTube a couple of times. It's going well by the looks of it. I've enjoyed your new episodes. You're doing one a week now. Is it one a week? Yeah, not one a day yet.
No way, not yet. Not there yet. I'm going to do one a week for this year and see how that goes, how I am with editing and doing everything else. And I've really tried. I've got new branding. I've got a new intro. I got new icons. I'm editing my videos slightly differently. I'm really trying to, do something fresh. So yeah, I've got, if you haven't gone on my YouTube yet, I am Simon Bond on YouTube. I've got my new videos to come out this year are weird band merch, 10 Metallica facts. And by the time this video comes out, horrible album covers will be out. So please go and watch that as well. But 500 subscribers. It's actually 509 now. So since I put that video out, I've got 9 more subscribers. So yeah, it's going really well on YouTube now. So thanks to everyone who's checked them out. If not, check it out.
That was just me on 9 different accounts.
Yeah, just get your bro on, man.
He pays me, don't worry. He pays
on
me.
There. But yeah, going really well. I'm
gonna take a guess that Dance of Death is on that list, because we've spoken about how horrible that album cover is.
I don't want to ruin it for the fans. I'll tell you off screen.
Oh yeah, but you said that it'll be out by the time this comes out.
Okay, yes, it is on there.
Hey,
of course it is.
We said that was a horrible album cover. Is that on there?
What?
Getting Away with Murder, is that on there?
It is on there as well. Yes,
it actually is. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Right, so you don't have to go and watch the video, guys. We've covered it all now.
No, seriously, go and watch the video. Go and watch the video, please.
Covered it.
Okay, literally, right, as we've been speaking, I've had a comment on my YouTube, and I won't say who it was from, but this person, I came across your videos recently, and this person is going to download, guess what? For the first time ever.
For the first time.
So yeah, a lot of first timers going this year, definitely. That's confirmed.
Awesome. I watched your just really quickly before we head off. I watched your Metallica 10 unusual facts or facts you wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
I did notice there is a lack of sound in between when the numbers are coming out, like number 10. So I will send you over the audio files for that, and I can be featured in your videos. Yeah, I can cameo or whatever it's called.
Cool. Yeah,
I'll do the countdown.
Do it.
Yeah, awesome.
I can also do voiceover work if you want to hire me.
Jesus Christ, going to get these two doing voiceover work on the freaking channel.
Simon, can I use this opportunity now that my voice is out in the world to express my love for one man who I occasionally do an impression of?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, give me a line and I'll say it, and then I'm sure people will guess it. But
yeah, go on, just do it. Do anything.
I have no idea.
Okay. Who told you could eat my cookies?
Awesome.
These
that was
cookies. Put that cookie down now.
That was awesome.
I told you Ed, that he was good at Arnie impressions.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
One of my favorite ones is when he's in Predator when he's laying down and he's got the trap. And the predator notices there's the trap there, and then Arnie's like, "Come on, I'm back here! Come on, kill me! Come on, let's go! I'm here!" He's the best, man. Come on. All right,
Very good.
That was my
awesome.
my 1 minute of fame. Thank you for that platform for me.
Yeah, if you need a really good Arnie voiceover,
there is any producers out there who want to hire me, because I'm available. Just contact me on Simon's YouTube.
Now.
Which is Simon. I don't even know what it is. Which is Simon.YouTube. 1 video a week.
That sounds like the dodgiest website ever. Simon.YouTube.
.YouTube. /EU. It's one of them really weird ones.
.net.
Yeah. Oh, .net. Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Jesus Christ.
Simon, what is it? Tell us. Let's go. Let's go away.
Let's go away. Let's go away now. My YouTube is Simon Bond, and I am Fonzie_Simon on Instagram if you want to holler at me and follow me.
Awesome. Adam, do you do anything that you want people to follow you? Have you got an Arnie impression? YouTube? Are you on Cameo?
Don't follow me in the street, because I'll get really paranoid. Other than that, I mean, I have a YouTube. I've got a couple of videos on it that I've done years ago, like gaming stuff, but maybe if I come on next time, because I am going to start like streaming gaming properly, because I know obviously the people don't know that I'm a big gamer and stuff. So maybe next time we'll talk about, following me on social media and other bits and bobs. But for now, just don't follow me in the street, because I will punch you.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's it for that episode. Anybody new, come and join us. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We're on all the social medias. You can find us. It's just Dear Download or Dear Download Podcast on everything. I think we've been going long enough to be findable on most search engines now. If you've got any questions, you can email us. Our email address is deardownload2003@gmail.com. It feels like it's been ages since I've said that. I haven't done a proper outro for ages.
Really long.
Yeah. Actually, I've got episode 18's notes up, so I can probably find it.
This bloody episode again, man. Just forever. Why is the 18th just always there? They're like...
I don't know. You just keeps them open constantly.
Yeah, well, because we use Google Drive, it's the most recent one open, so it shows it most recently.
Right.
So I just keep opening it because it's the most recent one, and it's just a circle of death, basically. Right?
That's great.
Right, we've done your plug, we've done our email, we've done our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Discord. Plug the Discord.
Ah, yes, nice one. I don't think we had Discord in episode 18.
No.
So it's not on there. Thank you, Simon. I must have laughed too much now. But yeah, you come and join our Discord. There'll be an invite link to our Discord in the episode description or show description as well. We do a lot of cool stuff on there. We're a lot of good chats, a lot of good questions and conversations going on. We're just trying to build as big a community as we can that doesn't get filtered by stupid algorithms like Facebook does or Instagram or whatever. Discord, you see everything that's said, and everyone will see what you say. Yeah. That was it. That's it. No more.
We know who the sexist people are. We see you. We see you. You don't get away with it on Discord, mate.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah, I was thinking, what's he doing? What's he trying to say here?
We see you guys. We know who you are.
Okay, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We don't know what we're doing yet in 2 weeks. We didn't really know what we're doing this week, to be fair. But you'll find out. Just come and join us and find out. It'll be a lot of fun no matter what. We'll go on tangents. We'll go on side quests. We'll talk about some awesome stuff and probably download a little bit. But for this week, it's going to be a goodbye from Simon.
Goodbye.
A goodbye from Simon's brother Adam.
Goodbye.
And a goodbye from me. Goodbye.